Good afternoon, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Unspoken Rules podcast. I am your host, Sebastian, aka Rabbit, and per usual, I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts, Montana, aka Wildcard, and Mr. Blake Spillers. How we doing today,
Lovely.
boys?
Lovely. I'm flattered.
Oh,
We're
brother,
doing
you
good.
know.
Shoot, I'm doing good this morning. Thanks for asking, Sebastian.
Today we'll be discussing yesterday's games from the rather impressive Suns win over the Bucks, the strong showing of the offensive powerhouse of Italy beating Spain, and of course my Colombian team going down to the Argentinians, as well as previewing the England versus Denmark match. And to end the show, some big news coming in about N'Keal Harry, the former first-round pick of the New England Patriots, requesting a trade. Well, let's get right into episode 27, shall we? Montana, take it away, brother.
All right. So we have the big game yesterday of all the sports events that happened with the NBA Finals in Game 1. Going into yesterday, Giannis Antetokounmpo was doubtful, but then he was upgraded to questionable later in the afternoon, and eventually he did play. So let's take a look at this box score here. The Phoenix Suns won 118 to Milwaukee Bucks 105. Giannis Antetokounmpo played 35 minutes, had 20 points, 4 assists, 17 rebounds. Chris Middleton had 29 points, 4 assists, and 7 rebounds. And Jrue Holiday did not play particularly well yesterday. Have played in 40 minutes, had 10 points, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds. And then we have the Phoenix Suns, who had a 3-man firepower punch yesterday. Chris Paul had 32 points, 9 assists, and 4 rebounds. Devin Booker had 27 points, 6 assists, and 2 rebounds. And the forgotten man, but who had a spectacular game yesterday, DeAndre Ayton had 22 points and 19 rebounds. A bunch of other double-digit scorers here. All right, Sebastian, what did you think of Giannis's performance on the court for the Bucks yesterday, coming off a hyperextended knee? And did we expect the Bucks to play as hard as they did towards the end to make this a competitive game?
So first of all, I was completely shocked that Giannis actually was back on the court, especially after that gruesome hyperextension of his knee. But he honestly really looked, really good. Credit to him and the Bucks for running whatever treatments that they did to get him back so soon. Number one. Number two, credit to the Suns. In my opinion, they just played an incredible game. Obviously, so they got a little bit of poor shooting from Devin Booker, Jay Crowder, and whatever the case may be. But overall, everyone contributed the way that they needed to in order to, just fill their role. And honestly, like I've said multiple times, the Phoenix Suns are probably one of the most consistent teams that we've seen in this postseason. And so my worry for the Bucks, at least, what I saw last night, is the inconsistency from Jrue Holiday, from Chris Middleton. Yes, Chris Middleton had a 30-point game, 29, but he shot subpar. And so I think in order for them to win, especially with trying to ease Giannis back into this rotation, it's going to be a lot of contributions from Chris Middleton and Jrue Holiday, and they're going to have to step up time and time again. But I pretty much called everything that was going to happen, minus the fact that Blake was right on this 15-point margin, right? But other than that, I mean, Brook Lopez, I knew he was going to slow down because Giannis was back. I knew Bobby wasn't going to have one of those crazy games. You know what I mean? And so everything minus just Giannis, shocking me in that factor. I think just knowing the inconsistency from the Bucks and them obviously losing a lot of game ones, you just got to credit the Suns at that point. They came to win. They wanted to win this one. This was a huge win that they needed, and all around just a great basketball game. Now, I think the Bucks have a lot to fix and tweak with, but we'll see how they bounce back on Thursday. You know what I'm saying? I do have a few stats, but we can talk about those later. But the one thing I want to say, shout out to DeAndre Ayton, becomes the first player to record at least 15 points and 15 rebounds in his NBA Finals debut since Tim Duncan on June 16th, 1999. And I'll mention other stats later.
I think the Suns really just controlled this game from the jump. I mean, they won quarters 1 through 3 and had a 16-point lead going into the fourth. But I just got to say, CP3 is winning the Finals MVP. I don't care if it's only game one. I'm saying it right now. I expected him before the series started. I expected him to have a great series, but I think he's just going to exceed my expectations. I mean, he had 32 points and 9 assists last night. I mean, that's such a great stat line. I mean, he could go down as having one of the best final series ever if he continues to have these kind of stats. But I think there needs to honestly be an argument to be made this year that CP3 might go down as having one of the best complete seasons ever by a player. First, let's look at the stats here. He took the Suns from not being in the playoffs to having the second best record in the NBA, which still wasn't enough for some people, as he was still getting hate from not only fans, but also Vegas, honestly, entering in the playoffs. Let's not forget in the first round, the 7th seed was favored over his Suns in the first round, even though they had the second best record in the league. But now, not only has he gotten his team to the finals, he's gotten them a game 1 victory along with a great performance. Now, with that being said, I don't really think the Bucks played poorly last night. I mean, I've got to give Giannis a lot of credit. I thought there was zero chance he was playing last night. So the fact that he went out there, had 20 and 17, playing 35 minutes, huge credit goes to him, because I did not expect him to play last night. But I mean, like I said, the Bucks didn't play that bad. They shot relatively well, but they need Drew Holiday, like Sebastian said, to step into a bigger role if they have a chance of winning this series. I mean, shooting 4-14 is just not going to cut it in any game, especially when you go against a team, like Sebastian said, that is as consistent as the Suns are. But the biggest factor I saw in last night's game, because both teams shot relatively around the same. I think they both shot around 45, 46% from the field, but it came down to the free throw lines. The Bucks had 2 problems last night from the free throw line. First, they only shot 16 free throws, which is just a major problem alone. And then they only hit 56% of those free throws. I mean, they might as well. I mean, you pretty much have Shaq out there shooting for free throws for the Bucks. That's what it seems like to me. And then you see what the Suns did from the line. They shot 25 of 26, which is, I mean, not only did they shoot 10 more free throws, but then they also only missed 1 free throw all night. I mean, that was the biggest difference between both teams last night. Yes, I called it to be a blowout, but I thought it would be in a different factor because the Bucks didn't shoot that poorly, like I said. But I'm going to call out 2 players from last night. One, I'm calling out Jay Crowder because he was 0 for last night, and the Suns need him to play better to win this series. I know the Suns were able to get it done last night without him, but Crowder needs to have a better series for them to win. And then Drew Holiday, I mentioned him earlier. He needs to play way better than he did last night. I mean, they signed him to a big contract expecting him to play well every single night. And like Sebastian said, it's the inconsistency that's really killing this Bucks team. This Bucks team has a chance to be special, but I don't think they're ever going to get there because their role players are just way too inconsistent. Montana?
Yeah, so as far as this game was going last night, the first half was fairly competitive. Giannis coming back was a surprise to be sure, but he played. Listen, his conditioning might be a little bit off, but he played pretty well. If you ask me yesterday, he played 35 minutes. He had 20 points. He was cleaning up the boards on the glass. There was one chase down block that he had. I forgot who the Suns player was, but that thing was completely reminiscent of LeBron James and the way that he was able to move down the court. Gives me quite a bit of confidence going forward through the series that he's going to be a little bit closer to 100% than we think. Offensively, I did see some hesitation from Giannis, especially in the paint, where I feel like he could have taken some shots and he wasn't able to Euro step like he usually does around the defenders to get to the basket quite easily. But I think that will come in time as the series moves forward, but he needs to get that going a little bit quicker. As far as the Phoenix Suns go, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, the big 3 of the Phoenix Suns each of them had phenomenal games. I mean, Devin Booker, he's able to score 27 points, but I believe he shot 8 for 31 from the field. 21, sorry. That's not good enough shoot. Well, it's decent, but it's not great. And I expect a little bit more from the guy that's supposedly the next Kobe Bryant. Chris Paul, he played phenomenal yesterday. He was making mid-range after mid-range. He's the leader of that team. Honestly, if the Suns are going to win, it's going to be because of Chris Paul, because the guy, he's a sniper when it comes to mid-range shots. He sets the offense up really well. DeAndre Ayton, this guy he's a monster in the paint, bro. He had 19 boards and 22 points. That's crazy for a center. The ability to do that, to give your 2 superstar players that support is something special, especially for him. Monty Williams he gets the credit for putting DeAndre in great positions on the basketball court. There was a lot of switching going on by the Suns yesterday on defenders, especially getting Drew Holiday off of Chris Paul and Devin Booker. I saw a lot of that happening yesterday to get Pat Connaughton to guard one of the two players, which is something that the Bucks have to figure out how they're going to fix that whole situation as they get ready to go into Game 2. I expect a lot more from Chris Middleton, and I expect a lot more from Drew Holiday as far as shooting percentage-wise. Chris Middleton, yes, he had 29 points, but he did not shoot the ball very well. But this is the norm for the Bucks here. Game 1s are notoriously bad for the Milwaukee Bucks. Shooting-wise, they kept the game a little bit competitive in the fourth quarter by cutting down the lead, but the Suns just made crucial three after crucial three, and that was enough to put the Bucks home yesterday. And yeah, Drew Holiday has to get back to that aggressive nature that he was in Game 5 and 6. So I expected him to be a little bit more aggressive going into Game 2, not be as passive as he was in Game 1. Figure out how to get his shot in the paint. The guy's a great player. He needs to prove it. So yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks definitely played hard, and I expect them to come out in Game 2 and play and get the win in Game 2. I believe they're going to split the series going back to Milwaukee.
Just a couple things I want to say. Like when it comes to Jay Crowder, at least maybe I guess not this postseason, but we've seen with the Heat postseason like last year, he definitely struggled offensively, and he's had his games where he can cook up, but at the same time, his factor and his role on this Phoenix Sun team is literally his defensive ability. Slowing down Giannis or whatever the case may be, Chris Middleton, whoever he needs to guard, whoever he's guarding, that's exactly what his role needs to be. And finishing with a plus 19, shooting 0 for 8. I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta just credit his defensive ability to get stops and slow down their star players, and just keep that defensive mind strong. Now,
we saw Jay Crowder. We saw Jay Crowder in the finals last year play great defense as well, but he was not able to shoot against the Lakers as well. So this is a trend that's disturbing a little bit, and that's going to be something I don't know if he can fix.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is when it comes to your offensive ability. As long as you make up for it on defense and get stops or whatever the case may be, I don't see a problem with that. But it would be nice to get the contribution offensively, because you can't rely on Cameron Payne and Cam Johnson to get all these points off the bench in order for them to be successful. But did you notice how this man Brook Lopez was a 7-footer and got 6 boards? And bro, my guy, if Brook Lopez is gonna be out there, I told you he's probably just gonna barely do anything, barely contribute, and all that crap. But to go, he
had 17 points.
Man, I don't give a damn about 17
and that was
points,
Giannis
he went 3 for 5. He went 3
but
for
Giannis
5,
was the one that was patrolling the paint.
Man, I know. I'm telling you, it's gonna. Brook Lopez is gonna. The man is a 7-footer, and he's not going to be in the paint.
You can't crowd the paint, though. You can't crowd the paint.
Brook Lopez has to be the guy on the perimeter if Giannis is going to thrive.
And that's going to be their problem. I'm telling you, that's going to be their problem. Watch, it's going to be their problem. But all that noise, all that nice stuff. I'm going to bring up all these stats that I have, and why not? So number 1, Giannis. Well, going into this game, will be the 5th player, or was the 5th player to average 40 points versus a single opponent in a season, and then meet them in the NBA Finals. He joins Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, and Michael Jordan. That's number 1. Number 2, Chris Paul is the 3rd player at the age of 36 or older to score 30-plus points in an NBA Finals game. He joins Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who did it 6 times, and Mr. Tim Duncan, who did it once. Chris Paul, I think you'll like this one, Blake. Chris Paul is the first player with 30 points and 8 assists in a finals debut since Michael Jordan in 1991. Mr. DeAndre Ayton, Montana's, talked a lot of crap about this kid, has his 4th game with 20 points on 80% shooting in the playoffs. This is the most in a single postseason in the shot clock era. DeAndre Ayton's 6th career 15th rebound double-double in the playoffs ties 4th most by any player in his first postseason in NBA history. Only Wilt Chamberlain with 9, Bill Walton with 9, and Bill Russell with 8 have more. Chris Paul has 73 points in his last 2 games. That is tied for his most over a 2-game span in his career, regular season or playoffs. And Chris Paul scored or assisted on 54 points last night, according to a reporter. That is the third most in a finals debut all time, behind only Allen Iverson with 61 in 2001 and Michael Jordan with 60 in 1991.
Wow, that's crazy. And DeAndre Ayton's about to get another stat because I think you said it a couple episodes ago. He's only a couple games away from breaking Shaq's record, right? For
this was, I believe,
double,
his 16th. Yeah, so this is
double doubles with 50% or whatnot.
Yeah, he's got 2 more games to tie and 3 more to win. So,
I expect him to break that. Then I mean, I expect this series to go 6 or 7. So, I mean, that's what half the games remaining. He then has to get a double shooting 50%. So, probably going to happen.
One more stat: the Bucks versus Suns finals is the first NBA finals to feature 0 players with a championship since 1977 between the Trailblazers and the 76ers. The only player on either team with finals experience is obviously the GOAT, Jay Crowder, who played 6 games last year with the Miami Heat.
Jay Crowder is the only player on either roster with that's kind of
NBA
crazy.
finals experience.
Wow.
That's pretty much it. I mean, other than Budenholzer's
he won 4
chips with the Spurs. Other than that, I mean, if players wise, Jay Crowder's the only,
That's what to me when I was watching this game, this NBA Finals felt weird watching last night. If you ask me, this felt weird not having LeBron or Stephen Curry in the finals for like the first time in like I don't know how long, but it just felt different. I don't know. It's going to be something we have to get used to because eventually we're going to see different teams making the NBA Finals. But it was just weird seeing an NBA Finals game without LeBron or Steph. I don't know, for the first time since 2011 almost. And that's kind of crazy if you ask me.
I think it just shows to the competitiveness in the league. I think I know me and Sebastian have had this talk off the air before. I think the NBA is coming to the point where there aren't too many horrible teams left. Like it's getting to the point where a lot of these teams, like most of the teams in the league, can play competitively with each other. Even the worst team in the league getting compared to the best team. Like I think there's only 2 or 3 really bad teams left in the league. And then other than that, I mean, like you said, it's weird saying not having LeBron or Steph in the finals. But like I said, I think it just shows you to how competitive the league is now today. There's so many good teams, so many great teams that like it's really anyone's game to make it to the finals, both in the East and in the West, which is the first time, honestly, we've been able to say that, like you said, Montana, for years now.
Sebastian, any thoughts on that? You're muted. Awesome.
Oh, I'm still muted. My apologies. I thought I unmuted it. Blake kind of hit on that. I think we're starting to see the new era, man. I'm excited for I'm excited that now once all these, big name superstars kind of retire and slowly end their careers, that we still have, basketball in the sense of, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Giannis being 26 or whatever the case may be, all these young superstars now that are developing right in front of our eyes. I'm excited that they're going to, take the reins and take over the NBA in the next coming years.
Yeah, it should be definitely interesting to see. I mean, I expect some players to be back in the finals like Kevin Durant. I expect LeBron will be there at least one more time. Yes, I think this is possible. Stephen Curry, if Klay Thompson comes back next year healthy and looks like Klay Thompson, who knows what the Warriors are going to do, especially with all the draft picks they have and James Wiseman coming back and Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, all those guys down in Golden State. If they decide to keep that team together or they decide to trade a couple pieces off for a star, I believe that Kawhi Leonard might get a chance to get back to the finals as well. So we'll see. I mean, the NBA is definitely changing as far as competitive balance, and it's going to be a thing that people are going to have to get used to as the history and the future of the finals gets to move on. All right, Sebastian, what do you want to talk about next?
Good morning. We could talk about the soccer matches yesterday. I guess I'll lead into that. So yesterday we had, of course, obviously Italy versus Spain in the Euro Cup to kind of advance to the final. My bad. I'm trying to find the exact score here. Oh, here it is. So they went into pens, and ultimately Italy came up top 4-2 in penalties. In my opinion, obviously I didn't really know who the heck was going to win this game. I already knew it was going to be a very entertaining one to watch. Like I said, the winner of this match would ultimately win the cup. But my only criticism of this game is the fact that that manager, I believe, is Luis Enriquez. I could be totally butchering his name, but he had some questionable decisions when it comes to exactly what they were going to do. Like, I don't understand. Even if he was even if he had a sluggish Euro Cup, I don't know why Morata didn't start. I don't understand why he just benched him and then brought him in the second half. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like he was the one that scored the goal. Yes, he ended up missing the pen in penalties, but at the end of the day, like, the man ended up tying the game and hitting that equalizer late. So I just don't understand what his idea was, what his train of thought was when it comes to Morata starting late. But at the end of the day, we got to give credit where credit is due, and Italy had a phenomenal game. I mean, both teams had great chances to score multiple times. Italy was just the offensive powerhouse. Their only problem was the fact that there were a bunch of times that down the stretch, or whatever the case may be, Spain was able to attack the middle and then easily lead that into a beautiful offensive possession, but then they just sold the bag in the opportunity and missed the shot, or whatever the case may be. So credit to Italy for coming out up top on this one, but I don't know, man. It was just definitely a fun match to watch. I don't know if you guys want to say much on that.
Yeah, I mean, I only have to say a little here because you said most, but Italy, I mean, like you said, I'd be worried if, I mean, for a while there, I thought Spain was definitely going to put in a goal to end it before we got to PKs. I thought for a while there, I mean, there was a good 10-minute, like a good 5 to 10-minute stretch where Spain was just constantly in Italy's side of attack. They were constantly in the goal, having opportunity after opportunity, but you got to give credit to Italy for not allowing a goal to be scored there, because I don't know about you two, but I thought for sure that Spain was going to put the game away there, because I mean, they, like you said, they had so many opportunities at the end of that match that I thought for sure they'd be able to put one behind. But I mean, it was an exciting match. Shout out to Italy and Spain, because I enjoyed watching that match. And I mean, the PKs were exciting. The first two were stops, which was crazy. I mean, usually you don't see too many stops that were based on the goalie, but you saw the first two get stopped. And then shout out to Italy's goalkeeper. I mean, the credit goes to him. I mean, he stopped them when it mattered the most. Not only in the PKs did he get them the win, but he got them the win also by not allowing a goal, like I said, when Spain had opportunity after opportunity at the end of that match. So huge shout out to Italy. It looks like they're on fire right now. It doesn't look like any team can stop Italy. I thought it was going to be Belgium. It wasn't Belgium. I thought a chance Spain could do it. Spain couldn't do it. And now it's up to the winner of England and Denmark. And I don't think either of those teams are going to be able to put Italy away. So I think Italy's on their way to winning the Euro Cups. Montana?
I had a feeling that this game was going to be low scoring, as much as Spain had the offensive firepower, and they've been putting up a lot of goals in the past few games that we've seen them play in. I knew Italy's defense was going to keep them in the game. I'm actually kind of surprised as extra time went on. I thought that was to Spain's advantage, because they have the personnel wise to score goals, and they had a couple opportunities towards the end of the game. Unfortunately, some of the shots did not go in, and it went Italy's favor. Italy played some atrocious defense in that extra time, but they got lucky on a couple plays. And unfortunately for Spain, the Italy in the penalty kicks, that was to their advantage a little bit, and Italy went and took it from Spain in extra time and in the penalty kicks. So that's all Spain's unfortunate doing. I expect them to play. I expect this team to come back next season and into the World Cup in Qatar towards the end of 2022 and be a powerhouse for sure, because I believe the more experience Spain gets, the better they will be, and they will return to their former glory of being one of the top soccer teams in the world. But as far as that goes, Italy is going to have a tough time going into the final, whoever they play, whether it's Denmark or England, although I do believe it's going to be England today. So I believe it will be Italy and England. England's a very good offensive team. It's going to be a tough final if England is indeed the team that goes up against Italy. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
The only thing I really want to say before we move on to the, I guess transitioning to the Copa America and then finishing with the Euros. I don't know, man. Like I said with Luis Enrique, there was a lot of questionable decision calling by him, especially in the pens. The fact that they didn't know who was going to take a shot, the fact that they didn't know exactly what the plan was when it came to what the order was going to be. I don't know what needs to be done. Maybe he needs to just go, but they need to figure that crap out because at the end of the day, Spain is too good of a team to just not know exactly what is going on, on their team in any situation. So that's all I wanted to really say on that. We can move on really quick, briefly discuss this Argentina-Colombia game, and then come back and preview the England-Denmark game. So obviously we saw last night, or at least I saw last night, my team just definitely lose and not make me too happy. I was definitely saddened by the result, but it is what it is. We saw. Do I even want to really talk about this too much? Oh, my heart. We saw freaking Argentina and Colombia go to pens, and obviously Argentina ends up winning 3-2 in pens, and solidified that win for their squad. Credit to their keeper, credit to all of that good stuff in pens. They got that early goal, and then for Colombia to tie it, that's in the 61-minute mark. There's just, it's a lot of things that I can say, but it was definitely a heartbreaker to say the least. The amount of opportunities that we had and we just missed them, and then ultimately just losing in pens like that. In my opinion, it was a great game from both teams. Obviously, Messi's the GOAT, like I've said multiple times, so I'm not entirely mad, but I just wish that the result would have been different. I wish my squad would have, come out on top, after that one. But, after that match ended, bro, my mood definitely changed. I was definitely a little bit sad the rest of that night. I was definitely upset. But other than that, I just got to give credit to Argentina. They wanted it more. Their keeper definitely was talking a lot of crap during the penalty kicks, and deservingly so. He got the stops that needed to be done. And when you get stops, especially as a keeper, especially in pens like that, you have the ability to talk crap. So credit to him for getting those stops, but damn, did that one hurt.
No, yeah, it was a good match overall, though. That's all you can really ask for out of this. The Copas and the Euros have been giving us, great match after great match. There haven't been too many blowouts. A lot of games going in the not only extras, but also PKs. Usually you don't see this many matches going to PKs, but we definitely have so far this year in the Euros and Copas. But yeah, it's sad, Sebastian. Colombia is your team, so obviously it's never fun seeing your team go down, regardless of in which fashion. But yeah, credit to Argentina. They put it away in the penalties. They do what they do best. Lionel Messi, I agree with you, Sebastian, the GOAT. Can we talk? I know this happened about a couple of weeks ago, but his contract, oh my goodness. Did you see, Sebastian, what he signed for his contract? Unbelievable. The amount of money that man is going to be making, it just blows my mind. But back into the match, like I said, it was a good match the entire way through. It's tough to think that Colombia gave up that one early goal. I think it was I think I saw the 7th minute. It's just tough that you think they don't give up that goal. They win. They played phenomenal. Almost the entire match. They had that one little stretch at the beginning. Like I said, they gave up that early goal, which is tough to see. But Colombia will come back in the World Cup qualifiers, I'm sure, and hopefully put up a better performance, Montana.
Yeah, as far as Colombia goes, they're a very good team. I know. Who's the best player on the team? Is it James Rodriguez or something like that?
No, he doesn't play right now, or he's not playing.
Oh, he's not playing right now?
No.
Oh, crap. Okay. So maybe why didn't he play?
That's a great question, Montana.
That's weird that he did not play for his own team. All right. So besides that, Argentina is Argentina. This is the team that was in the World Cup 4 years ago, lost to France. So there's a reason why they were in this position in the first place. They have the best player in soccer right now, Lionel Messi. I expected Argentina to win. I didn't expect it to be this close, or to even for the game to even go to penalty kicks. But of course it did, and that's what it is. What it is at that point. Colombia played tough. They gave Argentina all that they could handle, but unfortunately, in the end, Argentina is going on to play Brazil in the finals, and we get to see the Lionel Messi versus Neymar match that everyone's been wanting to see. Former teammates turned rivals now, so this is going to be an interesting soccer match. These two guys are two of the best in the world, so this is going to be an interesting soccer final for the Copa America, and it's going to be interesting to watch.
To answer your question, why he didn't play, it was injuries. Towards the end of the Everton season, he had an injury and that sat him out, and so ultimately they went through a physical, and he just wasn't match ready in order to play for this for the Colombian national team. So the coach decided not to call him up.
Okay, interesting.
Now let's move on to the obvious game that will happen in roughly 2 hours. We will be discussing the England and Denmark match at 3 p.m. Eastern. Ultimately, very, very interesting to say the least. Now, no disrespect at all to Denmark, but this should be a very easy win for England. And if they somehow manage to lose this game, I would not only be speechless, but in my opinion, might be one of the biggest upsets of all time, and will convert me to being a Denmark fan. You know what I'm saying? I root for them underdogs. I love the underdogs and the Cinderella story. And if Denmark somehow manages to win this game, I got Denmark winning the Euros. Now, I think England is just way too strong of a team all around, offensively, defensively, and will make a huge case to potentially not only win this game, but make a case to me at least that they could win this cup, especially the rate that they're playing.
No, yeah, I agree, but I think it's getting to the point where Denmark is kind of playing for that. I mean, they watched their star player go down. I mean, I believe that was Denmark, right? That player, he went down due to the cardiac arrest. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I believe so. I could be wrong.
Seeing that is just a traumatic. I mean, they're playing for him though, and they're playing their hearts out. But like you said, I don't see them beating England. I want to see them win because, like, I always root for. It's always fun rooting for the underdog. Denmark has a lot to play for. They saw their star player go down in such a sad fashion. Shout out goes to him and all the medical people that worked on him and helped him through what happened. But yeah, I'm rooting for Denmark to win today, but I don't think it's going to happen. England, I don't believe, has given up a goal the entire Euro Cup so far. So that's one thing. And two, I mean, they can score the goal. I mean, they're going to give, if they win this match, they're going to give Italy all Italy can handle. I mean, England is such a great team. I expect this to be a good match, though. I don't think Denmark's going to let them away easy. I expect this to be like a very close match. I expect maybe we get another extra minutes. Maybe we get even some more PKs. Who knows? But I think that England's going to ultimately come out on top. I expect the score. I think England's going to win 3-2. I expect a couple more goals here than we've seen recently. I know England hasn't given up very many goals. I don't think they've given up any goals, actually. But I expect Denmark to be able to strike not once but twice. But I think England has a little too much offensive firepower for Denmark. And I think, like I said, England's going to come out on top 3-2 today. Montana?
Yeah, you already know how I feel about this matchup. I think England's too good of a soccer team to lose this match against Denmark. Although they've had some scares early on in the tournament, offensively they've started to kick it into a new gear. Harry Kane is playing at the highest level right now. I expect England to win this game decisively, and it's not going to be. I don't believe it's going to be a close match. England's going to be in the final against Italy, and then when that happens, who knows what's going to happen? All bets could be off in that situation.
No, absolutely. I'm excited to watch this game, ultimately, just due to the fact that I want it to be close. It would be nice, as well as ultimately a potential Cinderella story could happen. So we'll see how this goes. Again, I'm very excited to watch this, but Other than that, Montana, we can move on.
All right. Before we get into our final topic of the day, I do want to bring up some smaller-ish topics that we had happen yesterday. Sha'carri Richardson was officially suspended or not suspended. She was left off the Olympic roster for the whole entire Olympics, which is kind of devastating to hear for the Americans as they lose one of their best Olympic runners. And unfortunately, that whole entire situation is a complete and gigantic mess that needs to be fixed by the Olympic committee as the future goes on, and because this whole situation is ridiculous in my opinion, and now it's just a disadvantage for us as the USA team now loses out on one of their best women's Olympic runner for not just for the main tournaments but for relay tournaments. So the whole entire team is hurt in this situation. What do you guys think about this?
Me and Sebastian, and I think you were in it too, Montana. We've talked about this before. I mean, it's a joke, the fact of how she got suspended. I mean, I don't want to get into it too much again because like I said, I've already said my piece on this, but I think it's just a joke. The Olympic Committee needs to look themselves in the face and say, guess what? We just banned one of the top runners, not only in the US, but in the world. I mean, she's one of the fastest runners, if not the fastest 100-meter runner in the world. And you just said that she can't compete in the Olympics by taking a non-performance enhancing drug that does not have any effect. If anything, it has a negative effect on how she would run. I'm sorry, but there's no positive. Like, I just don't see any reasoning for like how marijuana could affect whether someone's allowed to run in the Olympics or not. It just doesn't make sense to me. And it's not like, I mean, and the biggest joke of all is the fact that she was smoking in a state where it is legal to. It's not like she was doing anything illegal. She was doing something completely and 100% illegal, and she's still getting in trouble for it. I think it's a joke. I think the Olympic Committee needs to wake up and they need to change this rule. And it's sad to see that it might take something like the fastest runner in Sha'carri Richardson getting left off and having to face a ban because of this to maybe wake the committee up. But I think it's finally needs to happen. I think the committee needs to see this and see how the fans are reacting. I don't think there's anyone that's happy about this, except maybe runners in other countries that don't have to go against her now because they have a chance to win finally because she's the beast. That's all that needs to be said about this. She's the beast. She deserves to be running not only the 100-meter, but like Montana said, also the relay races, because you're not only hurting herself, but you're hurting the entire United States team. Because that she is a medal. I mean, I'm not going to say she was guaranteed a medal, but she was pretty much guaranteed a medal. I mean, she is so fast. She's one of the best runners in the world, and it's just a shame that she's not going to be able to run for her, not only for herself, but for her country. Sebastian?
No, I completely agree. It's very disheartening, to say the least. Like it makes no sense how smoking weed, especially dealing with the trauma that she was dealing with, to kind of just calm her down and get her head right, for these Olympic trials that ultimately was what she was preparing for. It makes no sense how testing in a state that you're allowed to smoke weed, testing positive for that caused her a month ban. What's even sadder though is that month ban ended, I think, right before the relays. And the fact of the matter is they left her off of that roster. So it's not that she's banned from the relays. It's the fact of the matter that she was left off completely off of that roster. I don't understand how a runner like her is completely left off and not even looked at for a potential relay spot. But I mean, at that point, it is what it is. So because she was left off of that relay team, she does in fact miss the Olympics due to the fact that she will not be able to run in her 100-meter event. So it's very unfortunate to say the least. I feel so bad for her, but she's a young talent. So now it's just time to prep. I guess keep running, keep fighting, keep dealing with everything you're dealing with and overcome it and just wait for the next Olympics.
Prepare for 2024.
Yeah, unfortunately. That's all you can do at that point is just prepare. And so
all right.
That's it.
So all right. So that's one topic we have. And then another topic, I want to briefly touch on the Capital One, the golf match between Bryson DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers versus Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady. I actually kind of enjoyed watching this. I know it took about like 5 hours to play, but the match was for charity. Going to Feeding America. I believe they donated about 5 million meals yesterday. off some of the challenges that the golfers were playing in and some of the donations that the audience and some high profile people were involved in making this thing happen. So like Charles Barkley donated over $100,000, which equated to 1 million meals. So that's huge number right there for feeding America. So that was a big thing for the charities. As far as the golf match goes, a lot of the clips between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers making fun of Aaron Rodgers and the whole Packers situation was kind of funny to see. I do believe that as much as I don't want this to happen, I believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to end up back in the Green Bay Packers by the start of the season. I just don't see him opting out of all this money that he could potentially be losing out on. And I believe that he still wants to play football. I don't believe he wants to hold out. He looks like he's in good shape still to keep playing, even though he's missed a bunch of OTAs and everything. As far as that goes, what do you guys think about this whole thing?
Well, it's safe to say, Montana, you didn't say who won the match.
Oh, sorry. Aaron Rodgers and Bryson DeChambeau won by 2 holes over Tom Brady and Phil Mickelson. This is Phil Mickelson's first ever loss in the match that's held once a year.
Okay, well, and I'll just go off of the Aaron Rodgers kind of rumors. I know you're worried that he's going to return to the Packers, but even if he does, I don't think he plays another snap for them. I think he's to the point he's got an opt-out available in his contract. He can avoid all fines and things the Packers can throw his way. I think that he's not going to – like you said, he definitely wants to continue to play football. I don't expect him to retire. But I think if the Packers are smart, they're going to trade him. They're going to try and get pieces, at least something in return for Aaron Rodgers because, I mean, he's arguably the best quarterback in the league today, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, I should say. And it'd be dumb to let him walk for nothing. And but if he does return to the Packers, like I said, he's not going to play a snap. I'm not worried about him throwing another pass for the Green Bay Packers. Sorry to all the Packers fans listening. I think that's just the facts of the matter right here. If Aaron Rodgers wanted to play for you guys, you would know. And I just don't think he does. I think he's over Green Bay. I'm not 100% sure he's going to start for another team right away. I don't know. It's honestly on his decision on whether or not the Packers want to trade him and to where. So I'm sure we'll find that out as the season continues to move forward. And as we get closer to the start of the regular season, I'm sure we'll hear more news on that. But yeah, I don't expect Aaron Rodgers to throw another pass for the Green Bay Packers. Sebastian?
I'm going to be totally honest with both of you. I did not watch this little charity event. But credit to them. You said what, Montana? 5 million.
Over 5 million meals were donated to Feeding America.
Credit to them for holding that event. 5 million meals to that was absolutely incredible, to say the least. So, hats off to all 4 of them that participated in this little event. Now going on to Aaron Rodgers, I did see a clip of Tom Brady making fun of Aaron Rodgers and that whole situation. That was funny. So I'll give you that. I did see that. But to go to Blake's point, to be honest with you, bro, at this point, the man has been living life, bro. The man has been enjoying his little off time. It's not even like off season at this point. This is more of just like damn near retirement. You know what I'm saying? That man is just loving life, living life, and just enjoying not, even thinking about football. In my opinion, even though I don't want this to actually happen, I say screw it, bro. Hang it up and just go live life with this freaking girl that he's hanging out with. What's her name? Shailene Woodley. Yeah, bro. You get your young life somewhat back again. She's 29. He's 37. Call it up, hang it up. Maybe come back after a year. Just take a year off. See what you really want to do. Maybe start broadcasting, if anything, or take that job at Jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, I think it's in his best interest, because I agree with Blake. I don't think the man is actually going to take another snap, in Green Bay. I think we can all agree on that one, Chief. Like the way that ended, I don't think that man goes back at all. But I think it's within his best interest to go maybe retire, just hang it up at least for a year, maybe just see what's got, pull like a little Brett Favre. You know what I'm saying? Hang it up for a little bit, see what the word is, and then if anything, come back and all right, let me play. Let me play on a different squad. Let me play for a little bit, whatever the case may be. So that's my take on that.
Here's the thing with that. Even if he does retire and he does come back in a year, the Packers still own his contract and his rights. So even if he does unretire, he would still belong to the Green Bay Packers. He's not going to become an automatic free agent. And
See, how long is that contract for?
he said, well, he has like 3 years left on that contract.
All right, retire
Yeah.
for 3 years. Imagine.
Even if though the Packers are going to get rid of him, there's
No, yeah,
no
they'd have to-
there's
they'd have
no
to-
chance the
Mhm.
Packers would have. I mean, the Packers would have to be so petty and stubborn to just hang on to him and not especially if he's not playing. If the Packers just pay him to go sit himself on the bench and not play, then they're just being dumb. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just the matter. You got to get assets for him. I mean, I put it this way: you drafted Jordan Love to be his replacement eventually. If you believe at all in Jordan Love, you trade Aaron Rodgers if Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be there. I'm not saying that I think that the Packers, if Aaron Rodgers wanted to stay, that they should get rid of him and put Jordan Love in there. No, obviously, keep Aaron Rodgers. But now that Aaron Rodgers wants to leave, you already drafted his replacement. He's had a couple years now to learn from Aaron Rodgers. So I just don't see – the only thing I think that if the Packers don't trade him, do they not believe in Jordan Love? Are they that worried that if Jordan Love comes in the game, he's not going to be able to perform? That's my only thing. That's the only thing I can kind of get from this is if the Packers don't trade Aaron Rodgers, I just don't see any positive to keeping him if he's not going to play.
Yeah, it definitely is interesting to look at as the season approaches. Will we see Aaron Rodgers on the Packers? Will we see him on a different team? But we'll get more into the whole Jordan Love, whether or not he's going to be the starter for the Green Bay Packers going forward in our NFC North and Green Bay Packers preview that we'll be doing later in the month of July. So besides that, we can now move on to our last topic of today's show, the N'Keal Harry situation out of New England. He has requested a trade from the New England Patriots. The guy is a former first-round wide receiver. I believe he was drafted number 32 overall, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. I think the Patriots traded up to get him also. I don't know if that's 100% true on that or not. But this guy was supposed to be the next top-level receiver, but that he never panned out that way. He definitely has the skill set to be a great receiver. He has the size. He has the hands. He has the ability to do it, but he just hasn't been able to stay on the field, and the Patriots haven't been able to give him opportunities to succeed in that New England offense. So do you think he will be better suited staying in New England or finding a different home in a better situation that can get him the chance to be a successful wide receiver?
I'll just touch on this really quick. I think that man needs to go. New change of scenery. See what the word is. Like you said, he's got the frame. Not being able to stay on the field is one thing, but at the end of the day, just a new change of scenery. The man needs to go somewhere else, somewhere that they actually believe in him and trust in him. Sure, I get it. Injuries have maybe held the Patriots back a little bit in the sense of belief and maybe, locking in on setting him up to be successful. But at the end of the day, I think what's best for him, I like this, that he's formally requesting a trade. I think they just need to let him go. Shoot, I'll take him, I'll imagine. Let me stop. But I want to see how his career pans out.
Don't the Dolphins have enough receivers already?
Yes, I was just joking. Calm down. But I want to see how
you need to give Tua more help. Come on now.
Hey man,
you're telling me Tua's bad?
Hey, no, I'm not saying that at all, Montana. Mr. Freaking, the Bears are gonna have a better record than the Dolphins. Watch your mouth, yo. No, they're not. No, they won't. No, they won't. I've said it time and time again.
Hey, let's save the arguments for later on. For sure.
But I can't wait to see how this kid's career pans out. He has a lot of upside. I think so. I've been a big fan of him, watching him play. And so, I mean, we'll just see. But I think a new change of scenery will just be the thing that he needs in order to have a better career moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree. I think all three of us agree that he definitely needs a new change of scenery. But I was actually reading that he was in trouble of not even making the Patriots roster this year, which is crazy because, like you said, just 2 years ago, he was drafted with the 32nd overall pick. So the big question is, was it the Patriots' fault for N'Keal's struggles, or does more of the blame fall on him? And honestly, I think that it has a little bit of both because the Patriots did not have much of a pass game last year. That's no surprise. I mean, everyone saw it. They could not pass the ball downfield, and that's what N'Keal Harry is best at. But he certainly didn't help the pass game at all. Him being injured in his first year was a huge problem. And then when he was on the field, he just didn't produce. He didn't produce a lot of numbers. And I mean, you can't blame the Patriots for all of that. So it'll be interesting to see not only where he goes, but how much he's worth. If I'm a team, I don't think he's worth very much at this point. I think at the most, I'm giving up a 5th or 6th round pick at the most, probably leaning more towards a 6th round pick because not only are injuries are a concern for me as another GM of a team, but also, like I said, he didn't produce when he was on the field. He had some trouble with drops. He had trouble getting open. Yes, like I said, the Patriots did not have a good pass game last year, but he was supposed to be part of the reason that they fixed the pass game. So you can only throw so much blame on the Patriots, I think. And also, I just think to fit into the Patriots organization, you really need to have a certain type of personality, and I don't think N'Keal Harry has that. I mean, I think that's not saying that N'Keal Harry doesn't like to work, that he's not a hard worker. I'm not saying that at all, but I think you really have to have a certain type of personality in the sense that, like, you're going to be quiet, you're going to be hard-nosed, you're going to put in the work, and you're not going to say anything about it, nothing. And I think N'Keal Harry needs a little more freedom with his team. I mean, Arizona State, I'm not saying that it was crazy down there, but I know it was crazy down there at Arizona State. I mean, N'Keal Harry, I'm sure, was having a ton of fun down there. So it was definitely probably a huge culture shock going from that organization to the Patriots. And that, like I said, that's no shame on N'Keal Harry. I just think he needs a little more freedom to, like, do some more fun things. Because, like I said, it takes a certain type of player to be able to fit into that Patriots organization. And I just don't think N'Keal Harry was a perfect fit for them.
All right, yeah. As far as N'Keal Harry goes, yeah, he had a lot of potential going into this NFL. The guy was touted as one of the best receivers in that draft class. Of course, when I look back at that draft class, there are some receivers that did not pan out well, and there's some that did pan out well, and some that did pan out well that were drafted later than N'Keal Harry, like DK Metcalf. So yeah, this is the way I don't know necessarily that Bill Belichick doesn't know what he's doing when he goes and does these drafts when it comes to receivers, at least, because I don't remember the Patriots ever drafting a really good receiver. But the Patriots, they do really well when it comes to tight ends and having good slot receivers. That's when their offense is at the top of their peak with Tom Brady, and that's what they need to get back to doing. And of course, they signed Johnny Smith and Hunter Henry this year. They're going to have a 2 tight end, 1-2 punch, which I'm really excited to see how that looks for the New England Patriots this season. I believe that's going to be deadly for defenses to cover. Johnny Smith had his moments in Tennessee last year, but it's going to be interesting to see if the Patriots honor N'Keal Harry's request and trade him or not, because I don't know what kind of value you're going to get back for N'Keal Harry. I don't believe he's worth any top 4, not even a 4th round pick, in my opinion. He might be worth like a 5th, 6th, or a 7th. That's the range I would put him in right now, because he hasn't proven himself on the field. So the Patriots are in an interesting position as the season as the season approaches, not only with this whole situation, but whether or not Mac Jones or Cam Newton is going to be the starting quarterback. All right. Anything else?
You brought up wide receivers drafted after him, so I kind of want to give you a full list. There are quite a few good wide receivers that got drafted after him. Darius Slayton, Terry McLaurin, Deontay Johnson, like you said, DK Metcalf, Mecole Hardman, and A.J. Brown, and Deebo Samuel. I mean, those are all wide receivers that are better than N'Keal Harry. So, I mean, that's – if I'm not only a Patriots fan, but anyone in the Patriots organization, that's definitely a tough pill to swallow, looking at all those great wide receivers who have produced such big numbers already in their young careers, and those were guys that were taken after the guy you took. That's definitely a tough thing to see if I'm anyone in the Patriots organization.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I believe that's going to be it for Unspoken Rules. What do you got, Sebastian?
I got just a few stats. My bad. Italy will make its 10th appearance in a Euro/World Cup final, the second most of any country, Germany being with 14. Italy's win was its 33rd straight match without a loss, the longest unbeaten streak in team history, them being 27, 0 losses, and 6 draws. Jacob deGrom has averaged 99.2 miles per hour with his fastball this season. That's on pace to be the highest by any qualified pitcher in a single season as far back as pitching tracking data was available since 2008. And with 28 home runs, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. now ties Johnny Bench from 1970 for the most home runs by a player 22 or younger prior to the All-Star break in a single season. Now you can end the show. Sorry.
All right. Interesting stats there, Sebastian. We'll have to make that Sebastian's rapid fire stats. We'll have to call that the new segment towards the end of the show. All right. Before we end the episode of Unspoken Rules number 27, I want to remind you guys, if you haven't already on the audio platforms, subscribe to Apple Podcasts, download the episodes, to leave a rating, leave a review. If you guys are watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Liking the video is the most important thing you can do to help support the channel. Comment on the video, leave us a comment, tell us if you like the show, if you don't like the show. But as far as that goes, you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Wildcard Movies. I post movie reviews on my Instagram mostly every day. So you guys can find me there and check out my reviews. Sebastian, where can they find you?
Rabbit FL everywhere. Feel free to follow me on all socials.
And they can find me at Blake Spillers everywhere.
All right, so that's going to be it for Unspoken Rules number 27. We will see you guys tomorrow with another episode of Unspoken Rules, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.
See you guys.